It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication. Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. Today I'm doing Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers. I went on an interesting journey with this band. I liked them in high school, and then I spent many years really not liking them. But recently I've come back around to really loving them, mostly through appreciating what an incredible guitar player John Frusciante is. He played a huge role in writing what I think are their best songs, including this one. Anyway, I've got a really solid piano arrangement here. It's mostly pretty easy with a few tricky moments, but in all cases I'll give you easier options as well. Let's jump in. Okay, so first off, I recommend getting the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description that'll help you follow along and see where the chords line up with the words that you sing. And we're in the key of C major, so all white keys. It's probably more accurate to say A minor, which is the relative minor key there. And this is middle C for reference. Let's start out with the intro. Here are the underlying chords here, and this is actually going to be what we do for most of the verse as well. So we've got A minor, which is A, C, E, and then F major, which is F, A, C. And we're in 4/4 time, so each one of those measures gets 4 counts, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're going to turn this into something a little bit more melodic. It's going to sound like this. So in the left hand, we're going to do the outside notes, fifths of that A minor chord we talked about is A and E. And then when we get to the F, we're going to do F and C. And we're going to need to think in eighth notes, so not just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, but dividing the beat in half, thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So for the first half of the measures, we're going to be playing on every single one of those eighth notes, starting with the left hand. 1 and, so just kind of climbing up, and then 2 and, so we're going to use our second finger on B and then step into the middle note. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. You just hold it for the second half of the measure. Notice if I took this C down an octave, there's our A minor chord. So between the hands, we're kind of making this really nice A minor voicing. And then we can just move our hands down into that F shape and do the exact same. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Again, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. A little bit later, I'll also show you how to expand it to do the whole bass line. But right now, let's move on to the verse. And I should say that intro, it goes through that thing we just talked about 4 times in total. So now here's the chords for the verse. You can see that it starts off by 2 repetitions through the A minor and F. And I'm just going to play it the exact same way while singing the psychic spies from China trying to steal your mind's elation. And little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotations. If it's hard for you to play that rhythm and sing at the same time, you could totally just strip it back to the chords and just do like single bass notes. Psychic spies from China trying to steal, and with whatever rhythm you want. But so anyway, after those 2 passes through that, then we get to, and if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication. So now we start having the chords kind of move a little bit faster. There's 2 chords per measure, so they each get about half the measure. But we're going to keep doing this pattern of hitting the fifths of the chords with eighth notes climbing up and then the right hand hitting after. So for C, it's going to be C, G, and then with our first and third finger on the right, we're just going to do C and E. And it's going to be the same shape for all these chords. 1 and 2, and I'm going to just move the shape down so your pinky's on G. 3 and 4, and so that's G, D, G, B, down to F, same thing. So you're going to do F and A there. And then finally, D minor, you're going to go all the way up here, D, A, and then D and F. So altogether, that's going to be, and if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication. Californication. And then we are in an interlude. So the interludes are basically just 2 times through what we did in the intro or the first part of the verse. And throughout the song, it's just these little kind of instrumental breaks. Maybe now is a good time to talk about the optional letting your left hand, actually it's kind of a collaboration between the hands, but we can not only imply John's guitar part here, but we can also add a little bit more of Flea's bass line, which is going to sound like this. So we're going to start just like we did, but we're going to hit that top E again with the thumb when you get to the C in the right hand. And then, so that's another E, D, C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. It's too fast to really count the subdivisions there, but da, 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 on beat 4. And then we're going to come down and do. And then when you hit this A here, just stretch your thumb up to this D. And then step down to C. So D, D, C. Timing there is like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then the second time's a little bit different. Instead of the melody in the left hand or the bass going D, D, C, it does F, F, D. So here's how I would do that. So this time, rather than stretching our thumb all the way up there, the right hand is kind of in a good position to just do it with its thumb. So I'm going to do 1 and 3 together there and hit the F again and then the D with the left hand thumb. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So one more time, that whole pattern. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 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 One other option I want to give, because for a lot of people, their left hand speed is not up to par with their right hand speed, myself included. So if you have trouble doing the fast enough, you might be able to do it with your right hand, especially if you do like second finger, third. So you could have your right hand just kind of jump in and help out there, like. So that is an option, but another option is to just skip the fast playing altogether, because it still sounds really cool, simple. And even though that bass line keeps going during the verses, I am just gonna play the simple version while I sing, because otherwise it's just too much to think about at a time. So after that interlude, we've got the next verse, and all the verses in this song are pretty much the exact same, it's just the words are different. So after that second verse, we will have the first pre-chorus. Here's the underlying chords for that pre-chorus. It's just the same thing over and over again 6 times, and the first 2 times through it, it's just instrumental. So the last 4 times they're singing. So we've got this A minor chord. I'm gonna make sure my third finger's on the A here. So that's the A we talked about earlier. And then F major 7 is basically, it's an A minor chord, but with an F bass note at the bottom of it. So you can just keep the right hand in the same spot. And rhythmically, you could do, I think the easiest thing would be to just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That would 3, 4. That would work really nice over this whole section. I'm going to do something a little bit more advanced that is to mimic the guitar strumming. It's going to sound like this. So to do that, you need to play 16th notes. So dividing the beat in 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a. Maybe you could just practice thinking 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Just going back and forth, left, right, left, right, left, right. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But basically, in the middle of the measure, I'm going to kind of snap into those 16th notes. It's going to be like 1, 2 and a 3 E and 4. 1, 2 and a 3 E and 4. 1, 2 and a 3 E and 4. Doesn't have to be exactly that. You could do a few more 16th notes. Don't get too bogged down in it, but that's what I'm gonna play for my version. So it's 2 times through that, no singing, then pay your surgeon very well to break the spell of aging. Celebrity skin, is this your chin? And so on until we're ready for the chorus. One final trickier option here if you want to do a little bit of Flea's bass line, which is kind of catchy and melodic here. It's going to sound like this. So for the A minor measure, 2 and a 3 E and 4 and, so stepping up 8th notes, A, B, C, and then 1, 2 and a 3 E and 4 and, that's C, B, G. So I probably won't do that while I'm singing, but I'll do it in the place at the beginning of the pre-chorus before the singing starts. And the pre-chorus ends with firstborn unicorn, hardcore soft porn, dream of Californication. So yeah, we're in the chorus now. Here's the underlying chords for this. I'm gonna want my second finger on C for this so that we'll be able to reach down to the G and up to the D easily. Exactly the moment I get my hand into that might not be consistent, but ideally you just kind of land here on your second finger. So we've got a C major chord. We're doing an inversion here for the chorus. Our thumb can hit the G and then third finger on C, pinky on E. And now it's really simple to get to this G chord. Our pinky's gonna go down on the G bass note here, but we can just kind of collapse the hand shape down because our thumb was already on the G we want. Fornicate. We're gonna go up to this D minor, so our thumb can play that D bass note, and this is the same shape we had just done on the C. We're just doing up here, A, D, F, and then same pattern here where we keep our thumb and then collapse down to a root position, A minor. So the C to the G is the exact same shapes as the D minor to the A minor. And then notice that each of these measures has the 2 chords fit into it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and simple there. You can add a little bit more rhythm to the left hand on some of the offbeats between the hits, like 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. Also, if you want it to sound more powerful, you could totally do octaves. So in the second line, you'll notice that there is no A minor, it's just a full measure of D minor. And one other thing that's a little different here is it goes to that D minor an 8th note early. So actually like squeezed into the very end of that measure with the C and G. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. So dream of Californication. And you can just kind of pick up the quarter note rhythm after. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. So picking it back up on beat 2. Also, that's kind of a nice spot to throw in some of those 16th notes. Same rhythm that we were talking about for the pre-chorus. Then second half, it goes back to the more straightforward fornication, 2, 3, 4. Last one, dream of Californication. So on that last line, in terms of the right hand rhythm, I did the same thing I did in the second line, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and. But adding this little bass line, that actually kind of helps place the right hand chord. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2. So that's just G, C, B, D. And this time, you just let that D ring out. Then we're in another interlude. So nothing new really happens until the guitar solo. We've got that interlude, another verse, another interlude, another verse, another pre-chorus, which is going to be just like that first pre-chorus 2 times through the instrumental. The words are different this time. Another chorus, And then we get to the guitar solo. And I'm going to go a little deep on this here, and I want to give you a few different options. I think some of you will want to play the guitar solo with the right hand. But for some of you, you might be playing keys in a band that's covering this, and maybe the guitar player is going to do the guitar solo. Makes sense. So let's talk about the underlying chords for the guitar solo. And you might notice right away, these are very different chords than we've been using. We got F sharp minor, the D and the A and the E's, they're all major chords. So we've actually switched keys. The guitar solo, rather than being in the key of C/A minor, is actually in like the parallel majors at A minor. It's in the key of A major, slash F sharp minor. So really cool, it kind of strikes the ear here. So F sharp minor is going to be F sharp, A, and C sharp. And if we're just kind of arranging it this way, you can just do single bass notes in the left hand. So F sharp here. And then D major 7. It's just like the pre-chorus, but in a different key. So you can keep that F sharp minor chord in the right hand and just go down to that D bass note. And it goes around like that twice. Then we've got B minor, so that's going to be B, D, and F sharp. I just kind of move my hands down here. And once we get to this part, I think it makes sense to do like a quarter note feel here. So B minor for 2 counts, up to D major, so that's D, F sharp, and A, down to A major. Now notice that the D major and the A major, exact same shape, white, black, white, A, C sharp, E, and then up to E for 2 counts. Same shape again, E, G sharp, and B. So this pattern, the B, D, A, E with 2 counts per chord, happens a bunch of times during the solo. So maybe practice that a little. B2, D2, A2, E2. And I think these fingers make the most sense. 4 on B, because then you can do 2, 5, 1. But at first it only does it once, because it goes right back to the same. If you want to add that pre-chorus rhythm, you can. And then it just does a whole bunch of those B minor 2, D2, A2, E2. It just does that same thing 3 more times, ending on a A2, E2, and then it's going to land back at the end of the solo on an interlude. One other option, if you are just doing the accompaniment and not the solo, is during all those B minor, D, A, E sections, Flea's doing this cool rhythm on the bass that kind of sounds like. Those are just eighth notes. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, and on root 5th octave. So this was the B minor chord. We're not going to bother with the middle note, the third. We're just doing root 5th and then an octave above the root. And that's the same for all of them. And in the right hand, you could just add in the 2 notes at the top of the chord. So root 5th, and then when you hit this octave note, you can do the 3rd and the 5th above that. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2. I think that sounds really nice. Okay, but let's say you do want to play the solo with the right hand, which is what I'm going to do for my version. Let's put up the first 4 measures worth of this. So the top is the right hand single notes, and then below it is the left hand chords. Now I just wrote D just because it's a little messy to keep writing major 7 here, but you can do the major 7 here. So the first notes in the right hand are A, C sharp, G sharp, F sharp. I'm doing 3rd finger on the A, and then everything else kind of falls into place. And the timing there would be to hit an F sharp minor with your left hand, and then they connect there on the F sharp. Then it does the exact same thing again. If you want to get really specific with the rhythm, the right hand notes go a little faster there, and you kind of end up on the F sharp a little earlier. Okay. Then we have this cool moment where we have a bunch of little F sharps. Da, 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 da. I'm going to move my 4th finger So after I've done the second, da, 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 for the very next F sharp, I'm just going to lift my hand, put my fourth finger down on it, and it's F sharp, E, C, C. Actually, I'm probably going to use second finger there. F sharp, E, C, C. Then D hits kind of while this is holding out. Then we can use our thumb for B, C sharp. The right hand's going to hit A, or the right hand's hitting E while the left hand does the A chord. E, G sharp. Almost done with this line. F sharp here in the right hand while the left hand goes to the E. F sharp, E, C sharp. Let me take that again slowly from the cluster of F sharps. F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, da 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 da. That last E, C sharp happens pretty quickly. So let me play that first line one more time, and you can do just the regular D major chord here, or you can reach your thumb up if it's not too tricky and do some of those major seventh notes. By the way, if any of this is going too fast or is overwhelming, you can click the little settings wheel and change the playback speed on YouTube to like 50%. That might be helpful. So let's look at the next line. This is where we're back to the F sharp minor, and we're gonna hit an A with that again, but this time we're gonna use our thumb in the right hand because we're gonna have to reach up higher here. Sounds like this. A, C sharp, E, F sharp, down to D. If you want, do the major 7. And finger-wise, I did 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it does basically the same thing again. It's just this time it goes up to the G sharp before landing on the F sharp. So A, C sharp, E, G sharp, F. You could even, there's like a bend in the guitar solo, but you can do kind of a grace note there if you want. Okay, now we've got the section where there's a bunch of B minor, D, A, and E. We're gonna start on A with our pinky here. A, G sharp, connect the D here. F sharp, E, connect the next F sharp with the A. F sharp, E, C sharp, hits the C sharp and then immediately goes to the E, and then there's one last little E, C sharp. Let me do that chunk again. A, G sharp, F sharp, E, F sharp, E, C sharp. And then we're in the final line here. We're gonna just keep going around that same chord progression. And for a second here, we just have, we keep hitting the chord and then just doing another single C sharp. So until the E, we hit the E and then E chord and then back down to C sharp. So once again, those two measures are B minor, C sharp, D, C sharp, A, C sharp, E, C sharp. All right, final moment here. So we've got G sharp, the G sharp hits first and then they connect on the F sharp, E, C sharp. Now this is important here. For this E, I'm gonna move my pinky down to play it, and that's gonna be the kind of the final hand position we need to get into for the rest of the solo. So again, G sharp, F sharp, E, C sharp, E. Right after you hit that E, that's where we get to the D, C sharp, B, and then A kind of in between things. A, E. So after the E, D, C sharp, and then this final A is the interlude starting. And then you would kind of pick it up here. So, a lot going on there. If this is too advanced, you can skip it and still have an awesome time playing the rest of the song. But I'll play the solo through one more time here. And just for one more optional detail, after, at the end of the second line for the rest of the B, D, A, E measures, I'm gonna do in the left hand that cool bass line that we talked about. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And so on this playthrough, if you want to slow down the playback speed on YouTube, that could be helpful, and you can kind of see how the rhythm between the hands lines up. Cool. And then we are in another interlude, which leads into another verse. Let me just say about the guitar solo. When I was in high school, I had just started learning guitar, and I didn't like the guitar solo. I was like, that guitar solo sounds easy. I could play it, and I'm not even that good of a guitar player. And I think I was just missing the point, because it is so tasteful and melodic and memorable, and you just don't need to shred and be impressive to make amazing music. I think the restraint in this guitar solo is so beautiful. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. So we're basically done here. We've got, like I said, the interlude, verse, another pre-chorus, going into the final chorus. And the final chorus, there's nothing really special about it. It's just another time through everything. You're just going to end after the final dream of Californication. You can just let it linger there for as long as you want, and then the song is over. All right, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to do a full cover of the song so you can see how all these little parts and details fit together in the full song. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one, and leave a request in the comments. This one was a request. I love this song, but it wouldn't have occurred to me to do it if someone didn't say something, so keep them coming. All right, here's my version of Californication. Psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation, and little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotations. And if you want these kind of dreams, it's Californication. It's the edge of the world in all of Western civilization. The sun may rise in the east, at least it's settled in a final location. It's understood that Hollywood sells Californication. Pay your surgeon very well to break the spell of aging. Celebrity skin, is this your chin, or is that war you're waging? Firstborn unicorn, hardcore soft porn, dream of Californication, dream of Californication, dream of Californication, dream of Californication. Space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. And Cobain, can you hear the sphere singing songs all station to station? And Alderon's not far away, it's Californication. Oh, oh, Destruction leads to a very rough road, but it also breeds creation. And earthquakes are to a girl's guitar, they're just another good vibration. And tidal waves couldn't save the world from Californication. Pay your surgeon very well to break the spell of aging. Sicker than the rest, there is no test, but this is what you're craving.